Hi, this is Congressman Tom Cole, the 4th District of Oklahoma, and this is our inaugural weekly congressional chat because Congress is really just getting underway. We're in the opening couple of weeks of the new administration, and there's quite a bit already going on. In terms of the new administration, President Biden has issued a flurry of executive orders. It's been a pretty mixed bag. There's certainly some things I agree with, particularly with respect to COVID relief, but there are so many that I disagree with, where I think the president is making really bad decisions. And the first would be the cancellation of the Keystone Pipeline. That's going to cost us 10,000 jobs, make us less independent in terms of energy. It also insults our Canadian friends, since it's Canadian oil that would be moving down into our country to be refined in American refineries along the Gulf Coast, and then shipped both abroad and used in our own country. And the Canadians were extremely disappointed in the president's decision and didn't waste much time telling him that. In addition, the president decided to ban fracking on federal lands, ban new leases and new drilling permits on federal lands. Federal lands are not a big thing inside Oklahoma, but they do make up about 20% of the land mass, and a lot of Oklahoma companies that are involved in oil and gas production are engaged on federal lands in the West. So these are really major economic blows to the states and localities where we'll no longer be able to look for new oil and gas reserves and develop them. That's going to cost, again, thousands of jobs, billions of dollars, and make the country less energy independent. Those are big mistakes by the Biden administration. The president's also engaged in a lot of things with immigration, and I think he's making a lot of mistakes there as well. One of his executive orders prevents us from deporting people who enter the country illegally for 100 days, including people that are criminals, people that have committed crimes on our soil that otherwise would be sent home after appropriate punishment, now get to stay here. That's a mistake. The president also stopped construction of the border wall. And again, that's over the objections, not just of the previous administration and a lot of us that think border security is important, but also the men and women of our border patrol. Look, walls aren't the only things that can protect the borders, but they're an important part of an overall strategy. And it's no coincidence that as we've increased the number of miles of walls, we've decreased illegal immigration in the country. We've also decreased the flow of drugs into the country. So this is an important tool, and to just simply ban it because you don't like the previous administration is a mistake, particularly when the professionals that you've asked to protect the border tell you that these barriers make a difference and they, if anything, need more of them. So I think there's going to be a lot of pushback in Congress, certainly on the Republican side, on those kind of items that the president has put forward, I think, in a very unwise way. The president talked a lot in his campaign and in his inaugural address about working with Congress. Executive orders and actions are ways to circumvent this, and the president has actually issued more of these than any president in American history in a shorter period of time. So don't let anybody tell you that this is what all new administrations do. No administration has come close. As a matter of fact, you could combine all the executive orders and actions of President Trump's administration, President Obama's administration, President Bush's administration in their initial 2 weeks, and they wouldn't come close to the numbers that have been issued by the Biden White House. Congress itself, we see other disturbing moves by the administration where COVID relief is concerned. Now look, COVID relief is something we all support. And I like to point out in the last 10 months, Congress on a bipartisan basis passed 5 different coronavirus relief bills totaling over $4 trillion. And over $1 trillion of that money, by the way, has yet to be spent. So we've worked well and hard on this. President Trump was part of that, obviously, but a Democratic House and a Republican Senate got it done together. Now the president has decided on a $1.9 trillion of additional spending. That's with $1 trillion yet to be spent. He's put forward a proposal that would raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. That sounds popular, but it'd be pretty devastating to small businesses. The Congressional Budget Office, which is nonpartisan, estimates we'd lose at least 1.7 million jobs. Look, when we have 10 million fewer Americans working because of coronavirus than we had in February of last year, we don't need to add to that total. Quite the opposite. We need to turn it around. Again, there's a willingness to work together. Republican senators have put forward a $600 billion bill, and one that's much more targeted toward additional vaccine, additional relief, support for small business, checks for people that really need checks, not for people that haven't lost any work at all, and the like. So we're willing to work with the president, but what he's done is lay out a $1.9 billion proposal that has a lot of policy attached to it, and he's using an arcane technique called budget reconciliation, where you can pass it through the Senate by a single vote, and it could pass through the House again by a single vote. So rather than try to work with people and develop a common effort to deal with coronavirus, not only the deadly virus itself, but also the economic displacement and fallout that is generated, the Biden administration's approach has been very much a go-it-alone approach. So we're hopeful that will change. Again, various offers have been put forward to the administration, and again, Republican senators have met with him. But my best instinct now is you're going to see a sharply partisan relief package that spends too much, regulates too much, and causes a lot of collateral damage in the economy that is the last thing we need at this particular point. I'd love to be wrong about that, and we're going to continue to try and work with the president and our colleagues on the other side of the aisle winning where we can, but we're not going to hesitate to resist when they overreach and they try to circumvent Congress. So I think it's going to be a very active period of time in the weeks ahead, and we'll look forward to talking to you about other important legislation as it begins to develop. Have a great week. Stay safe. Please remember, always wear your mask when you're in public. Keep your social distance. Do what the healthcare professionals ask you to do. Wash your hands frequently. And if you have the opportunity to get a vaccine, and more of you will have that opportunity in the weeks and months ahead, please do so. Please trust the science, trust the brilliance of the American pharmaceutical industry. This is a way out of this crisis. So I hope those of you that, again, have the opportunity to get a vaccine, and we had another one come on the market just this week, do so as quickly as possible. It's in the best interest of your health, your family's health, and your friends and neighbors. Good luck and God bless.